Let's go. Cool kids step to the front. Cool kids. Too sweet sign for the click.
Bitch, you don't work there.
Feel like I need a shower just looking
Gotta
at
get
you.
right, can't quit. Yeah, I'm up next, I'm the prince. They ain't been the same ever since. Living pretty
We
well
cut
on
the
the
head
challenge.
off.
I ain't
You're
got
gonna
no
be single
time
for the
like
rest of your
this.
life.
Brock Lesnar on the beast.
Look at the heat.
Sleep flex and
Look at the
repeat.
heat.
Whole new swag with a pass on the tag. Coming live from the west to the east. Better recognize on the mouthpiece. See the power level got
I get no bitches.
Bringing content on the daily. Feeling like Gresh and Suela.
Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binary pals, and everybody in between. Welcome back to the Gresh and Suela podcast. This is episode 39 of this soon-to-be illustrious podcast. Matter of fact, we're going to speak into existence. This is episode 39 of this illustrious podcast with yours truly, the voice that does the most, the purveyor of mischief, Gresh. And join me as always is the queen of rebels herself, with a new backdrop because she is that type of person. She is none other than Suela the Bandit. What's up with your familia?
Hey, everybody. I cut my hair, which is good.
I got
I had to
longer hair
cut
than
it
her.
just for a minute. Right.
Damn.
I was like, yeah, I'm finna go ahead and cut this down just a little bit. But other than that, it's good. Some weather changes been happening. I think it's still officially springtime because when I see pollen, that lets me know. Like it's spring to me. Like, but you still got the little cold nights and stuff, but it's not as bad. Like to me, when I see pollen, winter is officially over. It's spring. Okay.
According to Georgia, the Georgia Encyclopedia of Weather, it is whatever the hell it want to be.
Right. That makes sense.
It don't matter if you think it's spring, if I think it's spring, if I want it to be spring.
Man.
If it's cold outside, it's going to be cold outside. If it's hot outside, it's going to be hot outside. You better be prepared to dress for both because you might end up having to dress for both.
Right.
Like,
It's like you got to dress accordingly every time.
So if you want to dress accordingly, if you ever decide to visit Atlanta, Georgia, make sure you rock your rain boots with your basketball shorts and your nice hoodie. I got a nice hoodie for you guys too. You guys can copy Eat, Sleep, Flex, and Repeat. Available now on Spring Creatives. Yeah, you know, you got all this, or you can go to Gresh.live, you know, get you a hoodie. But yeah, that's how you dress accordingly when it comes to Atlanta, specifically, because
Seriously.
I'm not talking about the outer Atlanta area where people claim they're Atlanta. I'm talking about actual Atlanta. So you need to.
That weather is unpredictable.
Yeah, you need to dress like you are you're going through all the weather, like literally, because it could be freezing cold in the morning and hot as hell in the afternoon.
Man.
It could be freezing. It could be hot in the morning, like a little moisture. Like, oh, it's gonna be a little timid. It's gonna be a cool weather breeze out and then it start raining. So you never know. Just dress. If you got that gut feeling in your stomach that you're going through something, make sure you dress accordingly.
The best adjustment to try is just open your door and just go outside.
That don't even work. That works for the time. It works for the time being because if you're trying to go out, still dress accordingly, which is all over the place. And speaking of all over the place, that is what we're going to be talking about because we're going to be revisiting WWF Thursday Night SmackDown on today's episode of the Illustrious Podcast from February 22nd, 2001. Pretty much 3 days after the episode that we reviewed last week because why the hell not? Don't get used to it. It's not going to happen often. I just picked it because why the hell not? And yeah, this is the
episode.
This is where Triple H attempts to get even with Stone Cold Steve Austin before their clash at No Way Out. The 2 out of 3 falls, 3 stages of hell, whatever you want to call it. This is pretty much their final build because it goes down 3 days from this episode. 72 hours. So we'll be talking about that. That's our main feature of this episode of this show. So hopefully you guys stay tapped in on that one. Speaking of being tapped in, make sure you guys, it is that time for a few housey notes. Excluding the live show reviews, the video format of this show has a new home over on patreon.com/GreshDigital. It will be available for all tiers starting at $1. If you're the person who likes to watch podcasts, that will be your place to go as far as videos is concerned. And as far as everyone else in general, it's still available wherever you listen to your podcast or just by simply visiting www.GreshUnleashed.com. And in case you missed our previous post-show reviews, just so you can get an example of how we do our live shows, make sure you catch our both Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber reviews over at www.youtube.com/@GreshUnleashedPod or available wherever you listen to your podcast. It was basically, it's the basic ordeal where we review the pay-per-views or the premium live events, as WWE like to call them now. And we basically just give our thoughts, our initial thoughts. We don't give you no full analytic breakdown. It's pretty much our unfiltered thoughts. Like if this shit sucked, if this shit worked, we talk about it. And we didn't do AEW Revolution 2023 because I had a show that evening, and I already knew even though I got off in time to watch the entire show, I think I didn't even miss a show. I didn't even miss a match. I think I missed my show ended right when the Jericho and Ricky Starks match happened.
Oh, okay. Because I literally was gonna ask, was it good? Like, how was it?
Oh, we'll get to that in just a bit. But that basically stuff like that, we didn't do it because stuff like that happens. But typically, if I don't have a show that day or the day before, I will more likely let you know, because I don't like to. Because even though I was off in time, I would have. I could have just did an impromptu live post show, but I was like, by the time it ended, it was still midnight, so I didn't even bother. I was just like, yeah, I got y'all next time. But we're gonna give you. I'm gonna give you a brief thoughts because I'm pretty sure you didn't catch it, but we're gonna talk about it a little bit, but a little bit more. Also, speaking of more, Gresh is back on Twitch on Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. Your boy is stepping back on Twitch for a fun time. We'll play some games, obviously, but because one in particular drops at midnight that night, and it's WWE 2K23. I'll probably play that for a little bit to get a feel of the game and get my initial thoughts, etc. And who knows, I might have some people pull up in the chat or on Discord to chop it up and vibe a bit. The time for me to go live will possibly be 10 a.m. I'm not going to do wait until midnight stream and then go into the next day. No. Yeah.
No.
The reason I'm getting too old for this. Like, I'm not finna stay up midnight, 3:00 in the morning streaming and all that stuff. I'm not trying to be up all night to wait for the game.
Oh, man.
The game to unlock on. Like, you got to do a countdown, then you got to reset, and then the game is unlocked, and now you can play it. I'm not doing all that. I'm pretty much doing the same thing I did last year. I'm pre-ordering the game on Monday. I don't pre-order it as soon as they announce the pre-orders because I want to see some fucking footage, because you're not gonna just get me to buy a game blindly and it's the same game. And from the creators that I've actually had the chance to talk to, it's pretty much the same game as 2K22 but with upgrades. So you're basically buying 2K22.20. That's pretty much it. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. The reason why I say it's a good thing is because 2K22 was not bad. It was heading in the right direction. It was and I enjoyed that. But make sure you guys tap into twitch.tv/Ayo is Gresh. It's literally that simple. Ayo it's Gresh. AYO it's Gresh. It's pretty much straightforward. I did a little upgrade presentation wise because I got rid of the red and black and I'm with the gold and purple. We're going to be tapping into some good things, and sometimes I'm still trying to juggle content wise what I'm going to do on there now that I'm back on Twitch. And more than likely, the reason why I'm bringing back Twitch is because we eliminated the live weekly podcast. So I wanted to basically not just add that to the list. So I might end up doing, like, if I go live, I might do post shows, mini post shows. Like, if I watch Raw, I'll probably go live a little bit and talk a little bit about Raw. If I watch NXT, more likely, because I watch NXT every Tuesday now, they've been cooking. I'll probably hop on NXT after that, talk about it. I'll probably do like some watch alongs where I catch up on shows because I'm still behind on Last of Us. I think I haven't watched since episode 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you said you're still
I'm
behind.
still behind, so
It's
I'm
good.
probably gonna.
It's good.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm probably gonna catch up on that. I got to catch up on BMF. I got to catch up on Snowfall because I think I
Mhm.
missed. I
Mhm.
missed episode
Snowfall.
3.
Yes, I had to catch up on
I
Snowfall.
missed
That's for
episode
sure.
3, so
Okay.
I had to watch that. I'll probably watch that. I'll probably watch that tomorrow along with the episode that's going to drop tonight, the time of this recording. So yeah, make sure you guys tap into Twitch. I'm more than likely going, if you follow me on Twitter at Josh Gresham RG, I will literally let you guys know, keep you guys up to date on that. And speaking of up to date, my last video on WWE 2K22 just dropped. It's another fantasy booking where I booked the 2023 King of the Ring tournament, which was announced for May in IRL WWE. So I basically gave you guys a reason on how I will book the King of the Ring tournament this year. And for those of you who want a little tidbit, I use some stars from NXT, Raw, SmackDown. That's how I will book it, and like do a little showcase for some NXT talent that they feel is ready to be showcased to a bigger stage, and then let the finals come down to possibly Gunther and somebody else. I the way I booked it, I was like the finals come down to Gunther and Xavier Woods, because Xavier Woods is the former champion. I feel like if you're a former champion in King of the Ring, like if you won it previously, you should be automatically in the next tournament just to defend that crown. That's just how I would book it. So make sure you guys check that out. And have you been, and that I think that's all our house knows, but have you been keeping up to date with WWE 2K23 information?
No, I haven't. Not
Okay,
really.
okay,
And that's because
because
I've been trying to play catch up with
life,
UFC stuff
every
and life. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, you haven't really been missing anything major. I mean, they've been doing like shout out to a lot of creators like Deontay DDJ, Phoenix Nitro, basically the entire Vibe House is Mastodon. All these guys and the Vibe, oh not the Vibe House, the Deadlock Boys, Tony Piece of Guy, CM Pulse, John Blood of New Legacy Inc. They had the game. They was able to record footage early, I believe, if not last week.
Okay.
I think last week or the week before, and they're on the NDA to release new content as the week goes on, because to build final hype to the game, because they are.
Okay.
That's the thing a lot of people need to understand. 2K already reached their pre-order deadline or goal, so now they're just taking their time and just going to release the stuff, because it's not really the reason why they probably. I think from what I've seen, I think the only new game mode is War Games.
Okay.
Everything else is pretty much the same with a tweak and an upgrade. So we'll see how that plays out with me content wise. So like if you guys are subscribed to this podcast or to me on Twitch or me on YouTube, you'll see me talk about this game and a lot of other games, because that's one thing I want you guys to understand, that AO is Gresh is not going to be strictly wrestling. You're going to see me play some games that probably drop like whenever the hell not Game of Thrones, Grand Theft Auto 6 decides to drop, or whenever the new Spider-Man or Wolverine or something. Like by the time I get a PS5, because I'm not getting it right now because there's not enough game in my opinion to purchase a PS5 yet. But when I do, you'll be able to tell. But other than
I'm
that,
gonna have to start finding out how to do that, because there may be an episode where I may get on like with a whole Nintendo Switch setup and play a game and figure that junk out too. Because I ain't gonna lie, like I'm starting to like my Twitch even more. Like now that I think I had my Twitch for probably maybe a year and a half. And it's like, even though like I had it for like DJ purposes, because it's like I be trying to study like other DJs and stuff, and that's why I have it. But then it's like as far as video games, I'm like, okay, I might have to try this out too, just because, just to see. Because Lord knows when I have nothing, when I mean nothing, I mean I'm caught up with my shows, I'm caught up with UFC, caught up with bills, everything straight. That's when the Switch come out. So it's like at that point, leave me alone. Let me figure out how to beat everybody else in Mario Kart, or if I'm like going against the computer in MK to build my skills up. Leave me alone. Like I gotta focus.
Yeah, with WWE 2K23, it drops, early access drops on the 14th, and then I think it officially drops that Friday. The game itself, from what I'm seeing, it doesn't look too shabby. Like it seemed like it's headed in a
It
step.
looks cool.
It looks cool from the footage that I've seen, the gameplay that I've seen from creators that had the game early. Like I said, like, this is what this if this is my last game that I buy WWE game wise, or if this game is it, then it's in head in the right direction. Like we'll see. If I say that now, well, the reason why I say that now is because who knows, 2K24 could be next level. We don't know. It ain't gonna be 2K20. We ain't ever going through that shit again. But this isn't me being a part of no Next Maker program, no 2K NDA. This is just my honest opinion, and this is coming from somebody who's been playing these games for a long ass time. I've been playing these games since SmackDown versus Raw 2005.
Man.
So and there was no 2005. It's just SmackDown versus Raw. That's before they start adding the years to it. I've been playing these games on the PS2, PS3, PS4,
Man.
Xbox 360, Xbox One. I've been playing. I ain't start playing on PC until 2020. So it's like I've been playing these games for a long ass time, and it's literally, and I have yet to sign with anybody. And even if I do sign with somebody, I'm gonna be real. And if they want to cut ties with me, that's their loss, not mine. So yeah, from what I'm seeing, the game is not going to disappoint. Like if you, and this is how I'll say, if you skipped 2K22 and you just go straight to 2K23, you're perfectly fine, because it's literally it's literally it's literally the same game with upgrades. That's pretty much, and that's what you're going to, and that's what a lot of people need to expect when because they're going back to the yearly releases. They're not doing bi-yearly anymore. That was just the reason why they did the bi-yearly, is because 2K20 was so freaking bad gameplay wise and functionality wise that they could not afford to release 2K21. They had to literally create 2K22. They had to start from scratch and go right back up. So hopefully this is a continued step in the right direction. Not too much going on with that. And that's my thoughts on 2K23. Make sure you guys tap into twitch.tv/AOSGresh. And speaking of, I might give away a copy of 2K23 as well. So make sure you guys stay tapped in. I didn't really announce it in advance because I'm still trying to put pieces in place with the Twitch itself. So who knows? Like if you tap into the stream and future streams like that, hey, you never know what I'll give away. Speaking of never know, brief AEW Revolution 2023 thoughts. It was so many. I went into this expecting this shit to suck. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like the hype itself was not the build itself was not up to par in my opinion. Like it felt like this isn't worth $40.
Was it just like thrown together?
Most of it was like hyped in 2 weeks.
Oh dang.
That's like I'm saying, and this is coming from somebody who watches the show. It didn't feel like they was building to a pay-per-view. It felt like they were just building to next week, and then it was like, oh shit, we got a pay-per-view. No.
Dang.
Like and then it's like, and even if you break down every build, if you break down the MJF versus Bryan Danielson build, the build was pretty much the same old. If you've seen MJF's feud with every other babyface, you have to go through hurdles to solidify your spot. Then you had Wardlow and Samoa Joe coming back. You had Ricky Starks and Chris Jericho feuding, because it's like you didn't care about that, because why is Ricky Starks feuding with the guy he already beat again for the first time? Then you had the AEW Outsiders versus AEW Originals storyline, because Saraya and Tony Storm and they're trying to get the services, or they're trying to have Ruby Soho pick a side and all that stuff. It was like this storyline would work in the 90s if social media wasn't a thing. We all know you're like, oh, you're outsiders. It's like, we know you're signed to AEW. You got the whole freaking such and such is all elite graphic on Twitter by Tony Khan. So it's not really like you're not breaking ground. And then it's like what made the NWO Outsider storyline work is because you didn't have social media. So you assumed that Razor Ramon was in WCW. You assumed Diesel was in WCW. You assumed that. But then it's like when social media became a thing, when all this stuff became a thing, outside of storylines doesn't really work. It's like you know how it's gonna go. It's like, okay, this is basically gonna lead to blood and guts. When they're gonna have their first women's blood and guts match for AEW at some point. That's what they're building to that. But as far as AEW Revolution in general, the show was not that long. Surprisingly, it was like 3 hours and 40 minutes, give or take.
Jesus.
Give or take.
3 hours.
Well, 3 hours if you add the buy-in, the 0 hours. Excuse me, the 0 hour pre-show. So the show itself was literally pretty much 2 hours and 30 minutes. So it wasn't that long.
It was just a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot to watch at one time, but it was a lot to watch, but I didn't really catch the 0 hour pre-show, so it was short for me. And I probably got to start doing that because I'm just going to be honest with you. The pre-show ain't really, it's just a match to get the crowd hyped and let you know, to set the tone. It's not really meant to be taken too serious. The pre-show was a 6-man tag. Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Bros defeat Aria Daivari and the Varsity Athletes, Josh Woods and Tony Nese. I didn't really catch that, and I'm probably not going to catch it. Ricky Starks defeated Chris Jericho in the opening match, and it was a 13-minute match. I actually enjoyed it for what it was. Like, I didn't really sit down to process it because I was on the road leaving the show when this match was happening, so it was literally in the background. And then we had Jungle Boy Jack Perry defeat Christian Cage in the final burial match. They had the part where they closed the casket. It closed and it fell down to kind of to let you know that they're buried 6 feet deep. But the way that they did it, it was hilarious unintentionally. But that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing because sometimes it's wrestling. It's not meant to be taken too serious.
Right.
Let it be goofy. The House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews with Julia Hart defeated the Elite, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson to win the AEW World Trios Championship. This was by far match of the night at this point, in my opinion. It showed you how the build itself was ass, but the match itself delivered. And then we had the 3-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Jamie Hayter defeated Saraya and Ruby Soho to retain. It was a decent match. I didn't really the whole story, the premise of the match, the storyline, who will Ruby choose, the outsiders versus the originals. Didn't care for it. It was a decent match for what it was. You could tell that they was trying not to do too much because Jamie Hayter is a heavy hitter. Saraya got a neck of duck glue and thoughts and prayers. So she can't really take too many hits or she'll be back retired again. So it can't really do too much. After the match, Ruby Soho turned on, quote unquote, the originals and Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter to align with Saraya and Toni Storm. Okay.
Okay.
Next up, we had Hangman Adam Page defeat Jon Moxley via submission in a Texas death match. It is basically you win the match by incapacitating your opponent to the count of 10, or they tap out. So it's pretty much a enhanced last man standing match, in a way. This match was brutal, to say the very least. I've seen deadlier death matches. It wasn't too edgy. A lot of people on Twitter wasn't a fan of it. Like I think you saw Mox incorporate a fork. I said, "Boy, put that fork down," and I ain't mean it like that. He shoved it in the man's head. It was insane, to say the very least. Other thoughts about it? The match itself wasn't. Death matches aren't 100% my cup of tea, but I don't dismiss it either. But this one was pretty brutal and barbaric for what it was. So I appreciate that one. And but Hangman, he hung in there with Mox, and Mox is competing again on Dynamite because this man doesn't take a vacation for some reason. Wardlow defeated Samoa Joe via TKO to win or regain the AEW TNT Championship. Joe just won it back, and he lost it to Wardlow, and now Wardlow faces Powerhouse Hobbs on AEW Dynamite. And if he wins, yay. If he loses, boo. As far as what Hobbs, apparently Wardlow got robbed, in San Francisco because I guess he left his bag and stuff in the car, and they smashed his rental car and took his bag and the belt. And I'm like, bruh, I'm pretty sure people on social media who went to San Francisco literally said, do not leave your gear, your bag in the car, because San Francisco is not the place to
leave gear at.
To matter of fact, San Francisco, I can tell you right now, San Francisco, Atlanta, Douglasville,
Bruh.
Clayton County, Fulton Industrial, you do not leave your luggage out in the open.
Miami, Florida.
It's so many, like, to be honest with you,
so many places.
To be honest with you, don't leave it out.
Outside of Phoenix, Arizona, like, do you want us to keep going?
To be honest with you, you don't leave it out in the open anywhere. I'm just gonna let you know that right now. You take your shit with you.
Common sense.
Either take it with you, or you make sure you have, or put it under the seat to where it can't be seen.
Right.
Like, be creative with hiding your shit. Like, don't just leave it out. Like, especially if it's like, bro, I don't victim blame anybody, but it's like, bro, I hope you get it solved and resolved, but like, come on, man. Don't
let that be a lesson to you.
To everybody. Just don't leave it out. Because people don't care. They will break your shit and leave you with the bill. Because now you gotta repair the window. And if you didn't get the insurance on a rental car, that's coming out your pocket, bro. So
yes, indeed.
Hope y'all get that situated. Next up, we had a 4-way tag team match. The Guns defeated the Acclaimed and Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett and Orange Cassidy and Danhausen to retain the titles. I didn't care about this match. I literally went up and did anything else. This was pretty much my least favorite match of the entire night. I just don't care. I just didn't care. This was just the most randomized tag team match. It was decent, but I just didn't care. So if you are a fan of all these individuals, you probably enjoyed this match. Me, personally, didn't care. And then we get the main event, an Iron Man match, 60-minute Iron Man match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. MJF defeating Bryan Danielson 4-3 in a sudden death. So that means the match went 1 hour and 5 minutes and 20 seconds. And I watched the entire thing, and I was not bored. Not one bit. Not at all. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was decent. MJF splashed the kid with a drink after taking out his mother's hand. That was a whole debate on Twitter. That was not needed at all. Like, I get people want him to play a heel, but me personally, and I said this when I was watching live. If you did that shit in Atlanta, man, they would spend the block on you and when it comes to stupid stuff and when it comes to our kids and our nieces and nephews here in Atlanta, we spend the block and locate addresses.
Yeah, if we don't get it in the text message first.
Like, we got people
9 times out of 10. Yeah.
Basically, make sure, like, and I'm pretty sure, and I know a lot of people was trying to blame the mother and all this stuff, like, oh, why were you drinking? Because apparently it was reported that it was tequila. Some people said it was rum. It was whatever it is. But in all, the kid wasn't even interacting with the show. He was literally just sitting there minding his business, and all he saw was a drink get thrown on him. How do you? And he was upset, and they obviously took care of it. AEW took care of it. It wasn't needed. I'm not finna harp on it. I'm not finna call MJF like this shitty person. I don't know the nigga like that, but at the same time, it's like that wasn't needed. And you've been warned. Just if y'all ever come back to Atlanta, I'm not talking about Duluth. I don't know how Duluth rolls out there, but I'm talking about Atlanta. Don't do that shit out here. That's all I'm saying. Don't do that shit out here, because especially if you don't get the pre-approval. Like if it's a parent that approves it, that's one thing. But if it's just if it's not approved,
and then you just
do
did
it.
that action just because.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you either get a fist to the face and all hell breaks loose. Like I'm not saying don't be a heel. I'm not saying don't be a dick to people. If people are interacting with you and you just throw a drink at them, that's okay. But if it's a kid and you don't get the pre-approval, and a lawsuit can happen, a fist fight can happen, someone can sneak a gun in, you don't know. Like I get that the 80s and the 70s, that's the past. Like I get they used to do that shit in the past, but this is I'm telling you how 2023 works. Can I tell you how 2023 works? Don't do that shit.
They have a total different mentality now.
There's a whole different mentality. Like I'm not talking about like me.
Whole another different animal.
see, if it was me and my sister and my little nephew, and you did that shit to him, I'm not pulling her back. Because I probably wouldn't jump. I probably would jump, but she would jump before me. Because she don't process it. She just reacts. Especially when her kid is involved. Same thing with my other sister and her 3 kids. Anything that happens to them, they react. You gotta understand how
parent, mother instinct,
you have
mom instinct, just
I'm telling you how it works in the South. I ain't talking about how it works in the East and the North and the West. I'm talking about how it works in the South. Don't do that shit out here. That's all I'm saying.
Moms from the South don't play that junk. They don't take that too lightly.
No. They don't get
chastised.
Like if between 1999 and 2020 in 2009. 1994 to 2009, my mama probably would have lit you up and turned you into Swiss cheese with a Glock or a knife or with her bare hands. She's calmed down ever since I've gotten older because I can handle myself. I whoop your ass myself. But if you mess with her child, whether it's me, my sister, my other brother, my other sister, whoever, she will light you up without no questions asked. She will light you up and take the charge.
Are like that, and it's crazy how, like, even though my parents, they're in their 50s now, they still can swing. It's crazy. It blows my mind. Even though they're like, yeah, we know y'all can handle yourself, but we here too. And I'm like, whoa, like this ain't your fight, but it is.
It ain't your fight, but it is at the same time. So it's like you can't really fault them. You can't really fault them for wanting to protect their kids. I get it. I truly do. I get it. So,
man. So I just sit there and roll with it. I said, you know what? Y'all got it. Like I don't fight no more.
That's what I'm saying. So basically, we gave you a nice little warn ski. Like we gave you a little warn ski. Like, yeah, if you come to the South, you've been warned. That's all I'm saying. And if anything, if you do it again, like I'm saying, you can do it. Like I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, you shouldn't do this. I'm saying if it's approved, like if the parents say, like if you talk to the parent in advance to say, hey, I want to do this spot, or such and such want to do this spot, where he tosses water on your kid. You cool with that? And the kid says, yeah.
Pre-approved. That's all.
See, and I'm pretty sure, because I believe, like, who knows, like, would they do this in WWE? Would they do this in other places? Probably. I don't know. I don't work for these motherfuckers. But from what I'm seeing, I'm just letting you know how it works here in Atlanta. Do that shit, you're gonna get got. Especially if you want to deal with the people here in the South. Like, that's all I'm saying. And that's all I will say about that. But what was my match of the night for AEW Revolution? I would say the Iron Man match. I enjoyed it. What was the worst match of the night? The tag team match. I just did not give a shit. Overall thoughts on the booking and the flow of the show. I thought it was booked perfect. It wasn't perfectly booked, but I thought it was booked pretty well. I enjoyed the flow of the show. Nothing felt like it lasted too long. Everything felt like it was just right. But that's coming from someone who didn't watch the from top, like the pre-show all the way to the end. I watched it from when I got back to my chair. It was the beginning of the 6-man tag. So I watched that in its entirety in my chair. So yeah, I would say I enjoyed the booking. Was AEW Revolution 2023 the best AEW pay-per-view yet? I would say is up there. Like it's some gems that I personally enjoyed, but this, as far as pacing and flow, this was the best booked show as far as pacing and flow. And it can only get better from that, because we got to remember this is a young company. They still going through growing pains. They're not going to be perfect. We'll see that. But yeah, if you haven't checked out, if Suela yourself, if you haven't checked out AEW Revolution, I would probably tell you to check out the Iron Man match, the Trios match, and the Ricky Starks and Jericho match. And if you want to just go through what me and Big E love and watch big meaty men smacking meat, you can check out the Samoa Joe and Warlow match, because that was just a hoss fight for what it was. All right, now it's time for us to step back in time, or enter our proverbial time machine, and check out WWE SmackDown from February 22nd, 2001, exactly 3 days after the Raw we reviewed last week. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you check out episode 38. We checked up. It was a good time. We had some jokes out there, some highlights, and some stuff. You guys can check it out as well. But yeah, this was basically a interesting type of ordeal. This was basically where Triple H attempted to get even with your boy old Stone Cold. Stone Cold, from what went down, where he Stone Cold stunnered Stephanie McMahon on Raw. That was pretty much replayed the entire night during this episode that we talked about. We get the classic WWF intro before we cut right into the SmackDown intro, which got me hyped. The
on there.
Like, I don't know what it was just a bunch of just noise.
Heavy metal.
But if you're baked like I'm always when I'm watching these shows, it doesn't matter. You gonna bop regardless. So that was that. We're 72 hours away from No Way Out live in Kansas City with Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler on commentary. They hype up the 6-man tag team no disqualification main event. It'll be The Rock and the Brothers of Destruction versus Kurt Angle, WWF champion Edge, and Christian, with JR conducting an interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H just days before their 3 Stages of Hell match. We kick off the show with WWF champion Kurt Angle just days before defending his WWF title against The Rock. Full tracksuit, gold medal, the most 2001 white boy shoe game I've ever seen. So that was that, and so much more in that situation. Yeah, this was the most 2001. Like, I don't even know what brand shoes was, but I'm like, the entire fit itself was just atrocious. The most ugliest suit I've ever seen before. But Kurt sends a shout out to his tag team partners later on, Edge and Christian, before doing a 5-second pose with the WWF Championship. The crowd starts chanting, "Angle sucks, Angle sucks, Angle sucks," and which Kurt's saying, "Now I know that's not what you're thinking." Oh no, I'm pretty sure that's what they're thinking about, my boy. I'm just saying. He said, "I don't know what I know what you're thinking." Duh. Grab your camera, honey. That damn picture is gonna be worth something. The last time Kurt Angle stands in the ring on SmackDown, the WWF champion, that's gonna be a genuine collector's item. He says, "Sorry to disappoint you, but you're just gonna have to earn your money some other way," and he will beat the odds by beating The Rock, keeping his WWF championship. Kurt Angle calls The Rock Casey Kasem with this counting down stuff before saying "tick-tock my ass." I'm like, pause. Kurt Angle then talks about the WWF, the music volume 5, and Kurt mentions who's on the cover, The Rock, and talks about his song Pie featuring Slick Rick before we hear it. And I didn't hate the Pie song.
I didn't either.
I was like, this man's talking Chinese and stuff on it. I'm like, I don't think I've ever listened to WWF the music volume 5. I think I need to check it out. If it's on Spotify, I need to check it out.
Actually, I done heard that. I was like, dang, I might have to. When I was watching it last night, I was like, you know what? I might have to listen to this whole entire soundtrack
That's
because
what I'm saying. I'm like, this don't sound.
I like the pop song already. Like,
No, this ain't too shabby right now. I'm like, hold on. Kurt says, "What the freaking heck was that?" And I'm like, "Bro, you are white. You are white as fuck. Oh my god." Kurt says there's actually people who enjoy that, and that's the man you want to see as the next WWF champion. And then he goes on to insult a baseball Hall of Famer. Did you catch the name? I didn't really catch it. It was some local Hall of Famer, Cheap Heat. Before Kurt says the song is a disgrace. Kurt then alludes to Rock not talking about pie on that song, but well, he was basically talking about pussy. So,
right. I was like, y'all don't get it. Like,
he was talking about pussy. That's
come on, like it's a metaphor.
pie, poontang pie. Like, there's no brand of poontang at all. Nowhere is poontang exists. Like, I should know. I should know. 10-year-old me was Googling what is poontang. What is poontang? I was searching for all types of brands of poontang pie. I was searching. All I saw was apple pie, peach pie, pecan pie, pumpkin pie. That shit is garbage. I've seen all types of pie, but I still ain't to my life seen poontang pie until I was old enough. And then I saw this girl, and I was like, oh, that's what poontang is. So that's what I'm saying. You gotta. You got it's basically if you ever see me, I want to eat some pie. I want to eat some pie. He just asks for some pussy. That's all. He wants some pussy. He wants some genuine pussy. That's all I'm saying. That's all he wants. Like, there's nothing else to allude to in that situation. Kurt then shows highlights of him beating up the Rock using his song Metal, and the crowd started chanting for Rocky, Rocky, Rocky. Kurt played the song again. The crowd started chanting "You Suck" along with the beat, and I was like, I was wondering if they started this trend and not Toronto in 2002, because they was singing "You Suck." So I'm pretty sure this is when the "You Suck"
already
started. It kind of started, like, it didn't catch on with a lot of cities until maybe 2002, but this is when I'm pretty sure we heard it for the first time here. Kurt then says time for talk is over, and he's letting his actions speak for him, and says after tonight and at No Way Out, he'll be singing a different tune, the I Just Got My Brahma Bull Ass Beat Blues, and that great one is true. Before he does his own, if you smell what the champ is cooking, before walking away. And then we see Stone Cold. I enjoyed that entire promo. Like, it was basically to get you to hate this man before the main event, as well as No Way Out. We then see Stone Cold show up to the arena. It's about to get good, because that man, whenever he shows up, you already know business is about to pick up. Then backstage, we see a random limo pull up, and then there's random horses in the background. And my eyes start getting confused, because I'm like, what am I watching again? Then they cut to Stone Cold getting coffee before showing Stephanie gets stunned by Austin on Raw. After that, we see Stephanie and Triple H in the back, with Stephanie still selling the stunner from Monday, saying she can't believe Austin did that to her. I can. You slapped her.
Hello. Like, what you think was gonna happen?
That's all I'm saying. Before Triple H says he will pay for that guarantee, Stephanie reiterates that he can't lose his cool during that face-to-face later on. He can't risk that 6-month suspension. Triple H says he don't know what he'll do when he gets there. He don't know what will happen, but he says when he get out there, but he can promise that if he does lose it and get suspended for 6 months, he won't just take out Austin for over a year. He'll take him out for good. Next up, we get Jeff Hardy accompanied to the ring by Lita for competition, and then we get a recap of the Dean Malenko versus Lita matchup and the post-match celebration kiss between her and Matt. Awkward. Jeff Hardy's opponent is none other than the bad man Rikishi. I'm a bad man. You're a bad man. That's on the WWF Music, the Volume 5. Volume 5. I don't know why I just said it like that. Volume 5 is on WWF Music Volume 5. I don't know if you saw that report that Rikishi's talking about he should join the bloodline in modern times.
I did see that.
If he decides to join the bloodline, he definitely should bring this song back.
I surely did see that. I was like,
Nah,
okay.
he can stay away because bro, your son out there talking about why you got to do me like that in 2020. You ain't do nothing. Your son out there getting choked out in hell in a cell.
Right, like you stepped in. So you had plenty of chances to step in, and the fact that you did not step in and just let this man get beat up says a lot about you.
So it's like, what are you talking about?
Apparently we know whose side you on, cause you just go let that ride. You don't care.
Nah, you can stay. You can stay.
You just gonna let Big Oos like dog him out, huh? That's what we doing.
You can stay home.
Like you don't care.
Stay your ass home.
He like I did my part.
Nah,
like,
stay your ass home.
Like,
stay home. Nah, you gonna let my ass get beat this time? Stay your ass home. Goodbye. The match itself was basically a big man versus little man TV match in the beginning with Rikishi maintaining control with Jeff trying to fight back often, but is instantly stopped by Rikishi. Jeff tried to go for the whisper in the wind, but Rikishi said, "Get that shit out of here." He literally swatted him, and he landed back first. And speaking of get that out of here, we get another close up of Rikishi's ass for some reason, unprovoked. Before he took out Jeff with a super kick and leg drop. These cameramen are obsessed with this man's ass. I'm sorry. Like, I'm glad. Like,
they are.
Like, do I have to see this man's cheeks every episode? Damn, made me not want to review retro the attitude era because all I saw was this man's ass. Shit.
Dang, man.
Damn.
Just can't catch a break. He just can't.
Damn.
Can't catch a break.
Rikishi took out Jeff with a super kick and leg drop before going for the banzai drop to pick up the win. This was pretty much a one-sided match. Rikishi starts walking away before coming back and teases to attack Jeff some more, but then Lita heads to the top rope for some reason on the opposite side of the ring. Rikishi over here, you over there. And Rikishi said, "Not today," and just shook the rope and caused her to fall before Rikishi. He didn't tease. He didn't give her a warning. He just shoved his whole ass cheeks all up in Lita's face. So he just went for the kill. Like no warning. We thought we had it bad with him. So on a close up, he just shoved his ass cheeks up this woman's face unprovoked, for no reason. Boy, Rikishi, do you get a hard on for shoving your ass up people's faces?
That man don't be caring.
That man just said boom, like he ain't. I'm pretty sure he farted a few times. You never know. Matt obviously after he literally would not let the snake face go. So Matt came out to fight off Rikishi, and they checked on Jeff, and that was the end of this segment. We cut back to the limo again. There's a barn show going on apparently. After the break, we see William Regal and Trish Stratus talking before Kurt Angle walks up and ends their managerial relationship from the Royal Rumble or around the time of the Royal Rumble before William Regal says, "Well, that's splendid because she can accompany him to the ring on a full-time basis starting tonight with going against that miserable toe rag test." But Trish says she has another commitment to attend to. And, okay. We then get a recap of the setup of Edge and Christian committed on Monday involving the Brothers of Destruction and Dudley Boys. And then we are taken to the back with the Dudley Boys are interviewed by Kevin Kelly next with Bubba Ray hyping up the fact that the Triple Threat Tag Team match will be a tables match on Sunday and basically says that the other teams are screwed. Bubba is a pretty good promo here. I enjoyed it. I like the way he hyped stuff up back in the day. We then cut to back to JR getting interviewed by Jonathan Coachman about his upcoming interview with Stone Cold and Triple H later, with JR having doubts that the two can keep it together because if they break the zero tolerance, then the whole match is done. We then see Trish Stratus walk up to the limo and open her jacket, showing her boobs, and talking to She talks to someone all flirtatious before telling them to move over, and they basically about to do the devil's tango. We then get a "do not try this at home" promo that everybody absolutely ignored, because I know I did. The many times I whooped my cousin's asses.
Man,
We then cut back to the limo, and the windows are now fogged up, and we hear some heavy moaning. I had to turn it over, like, because they was like whispering. They were like, shh, shh, what's that? What's that? And I turned it over, like, oh, she's actually moaning. Okay. Trish was getting her back. Trish was getting her back broke like a wishbone. So, yeah. All power to you, sister. Next up, we see the arrival of WWF Hardcore Champion Raven with his shopping cart to scout the winner of this next match, who will face Raven for the title at No Way Out. Out first is none other than Crash, who will face Perry Saturn, accompanied by Terry, who was cold. Nips. With King wishing to get hardcore with Terry. All right, man. The match starts with Perry and Crash. I didn't know what type of match it was, and I had to Google on Wikipedia. It was dubbed the... Did I pull it up? Let me see. Did I pull it up? Yeah, it was dubbed the Chaos Hardcore match. It was basically... I guess it was basically a glorified championship challenge match or championship scramble match or some shit. Yeah, it was basically it was a lot going on. We had K-Quick, Big Show, Crash Holly, Hardcore Holly. Who else was in this match? Yeah, Parrots, Steve Blackman, all these other people. So it was pretty much a weapons field type of gauntlet match. Commentary didn't clarify, so I was literally confused until I looked it up after watching the show. Whoever won, but I just knew whoever won would face Raven. Raven then randomly said Carmen Electra is wearing a ninja suit that's been helping him win, but said, nah, not really. Okay. The match was all over the place, like I said, with weapon use before Big Show hit a chokeslam on K-Quick to pick up the win and will face Raven for the hardcore title at No Way Out. Raven then jumped him with this big-ass stop sign. Like, it's literally bigger than him. Like, it was literally comedic for no reason. But that didn't work before Big Show hit the final cut on Raven to send a message. I'm surprised he didn't just pin him right here. Like, it was 24/7 rules, but I guess they had a pay-per-view to sell, so I get it, I guess. We get the final hype before the in-ring interview between Stone Cold and Triple H, with Stephanie pleading with Triple H to not touch Austin. And Triple H says he can't make any promises before storming out.
Yeah, she was like, don't touch Austin.
No, please don't touch him.
Please don't touch Austin. I'm like, girl, please, that's going to happen. He going to get touched.
WWF Rewind, presented by WWF SmackDown Know Your Role. I haven't played that game in a minute. It still sucked. So, there's that. It was a place. It was a place.
I was just gonna say, like, did I even get it? Do I even remember playing that game? I probably did. I probably did play it.
It was on. I think it was on PlayStation 1 or something like that. So it was all right. It wasn't. It's like if you compare it to modern times, it sucks. But if you are for the time, it was good. The rewind was basically showing Stone Cold stunning Stephanie McMahon again. I mean, it gets me hyped every time, but yeah. Next up, we get old Boomers Sooners. Jim Ross, he makes his way out to the ring for the interview before hyping up the 3 stages of hell. First fall will be a single straight up fight match, a wrestling match. Second fall will be a street fight, and in the case that it goes all the way, third and final fall will be a steel cage match. Jim Ross then proceeds to hype up the 2 out of 3 falls match by breaking down each fall before showing a recap of what led to this match, including Stone Cold Steve Austin getting ran down. Their match at Survivor Series ending with Triple H getting dropped off a forklift, saying "Holy shit!" Triple H costing Stone Cold out of the WWF title against Kurt Angle, or screwing him out of the WWF title on Raw. Stone Cold costing Triple H the title at the Royal Rumble. Stone Cold winning the Royal Rumble, then them signing the contract, and then obviously Stone Cold. They signed the contract for No Way Out, including the no contact rule. Stone Cold getting attacked from behind by Triple H before signing the contract himself. So he basically got one lick off before he couldn't touch him again. And then obviously Stone Cold stunning Stephanie McMahon. I love this package. Like it is obviously not up to standard what they do now or what we do now as far as production wise, but I enjoyed the package for what it was. Like it wasn't It wasn't horrible. JR introduces Stone Cold Steve Austin, but Triple H walks out first instead and does his full entrance with the spit and all that stuff before taking the mic from Jim Ross. And then Triple H proceeds to reiterate what JR says about the match and then says Stone Cold will have no choice but to respect him and fear him after No Way Out because he will demand it. Triple H says in the first fall, he will break his spirit. In the second fall, he will break his bones, like JR said. Triple H says if you think he will risk it all to beat Stone Cold's ass in the middle of the ring, and he says that everybody who thinks that are wrong. He's the cerebral assassin, as JR likes to call him, and he's a thinking man. And then addresses Stone Cold stunning his wife and says, while he was pissed off to start with, lighting fuel and the gas, it's not going to make him lose control or get him suspended for 6 months, but he will have an answer to that assault before hitting a pedigree on Jim Ross, before Stone Cold runs out full hoochie daddy shorts, bike and gold chain, running out to try to make the save, but Stone Cold can't touch the game until Sunday. This was basically, like I said, a response to Austin stunning Stephanie McMahon, playing on their close friendship. If Monday didn't get you hyped for Sunday, this did. I enjoyed this entire segment. Like it didn't overstay its welcome. It was straight to the point. Triple H responded to Stone Cold's assault in kind. I enjoyed it.
It was really, really good.
After the break and hyping up of WWF New York, we get a recap of what just went down before they proceed to hype up No Way Out, including the Fatal 4-Way match for the Intercontinental Championship, Jericho versus X-Pac versus Eddie Guerrero versus Benoit. After Chris's comments on Raw, Vince McMahon makes a tag team match for this evening. Chris Jericho teaming with X-Pac to take on Eddie Guerrero and Crispin. Benoit and Jericho started off the match for their respective teams. This was basically a can they coexist type beat. As the match progressed, I started rolling up one. Like, this is a legit sidebar. I wrote this down. I started rolling up a joint. So, yeah. The ending of the match came about when X-Pac kicked his own partner in the face before Benoit locked in the crossface, forcing Jericho to tap out and pick up the win for their team. Benoit didn't let go before Eddie started brawling with X-Pac a bit before Just Incredible came out and hit a low blow on Eddie so that X-Pac can hit an X-Factor on Guerrero before both men hit a super kick or a double super kick on Benoit. They took Benoit a super kick party before it was a thing, with both men standing tall. Next up, we get WWF Women's Champion Ivory and the Cat heading to the ring next for a match. Cat wore this big ass shirt and ripped it open and revealed her gear. And I'm like, all right, white woman.
All right.
But that match is next. Back from the break, we see Edge and Christian complaining about facing Undertaker and Kane again, refusing to take the last ride again. The thing hurt. It hurt Sickles or something like that. However, Edge said they was just so Edge and Christian here, it wasn't even funny. And then Christian trying to understand how Kane is back up after a concerto. Kurt says, what happened to the cocky, brash guys he knows and loves before hyping them up, saying they got this before they leave the locker room? Next up, the women's title is on the line for some reason as the leader of Right to Nudity, the Cat, comes out who challenges RTC's Ivory before they hype up King versus Steven Richards, where if King wins, the Cat gets naked. But if Steven wins, the Cat has to join the RTC. I think the story didn't go anywhere after the Raw, after No Way Out, because I think the Cat legit quit, and her then husband King quit with her too. So the whole storyline was pretty much dropped, and I think that after a few appearances, the Cat just retired from the business. So there's that.
Oh wow!
The match starts, and the Cat does a suplex and a monkey flip, and that caught me completely off guard. I'm like, this ain't bad. Ivory took control of the match, basically playing the wrestling equivalent of Miss Trunchbull. No more nudity. And I'm like, she played that real well. Ivory got distracted, taunting to King before the Cat ripped Ivory's shirt off for some reason. And then the RTC siren went off. with Godfather or Goodfather, Bull Buchanan, and Val Venus walking down to the ring. King tries to grab a chair, but was kicked out of nowhere by Steven Richards with the Stevie kick before each member hit their respective finishers on King and made the cat watch every bit. I guess this match was thrown out. I didn't hear a bell, so there's that. The assault ends with a DDT on a chair by Steven Richards, the cat consoling King while crying. Nice way to get the heat on the heels before Sunday. Back from the break, we get a recap about what just happened, and then we get Taz coming out, full entrance to join Cole on commentary, taking advantage and seizing the opportunity to do commentary. Next up, we get, as William Regal makes his way to the ring, we get a WWF Overdrive recap of the week of Test winning the WWF European title last month on Raw. Test makes his way out to defend the title. Regal jumps Test to start the match, with Test quickly regaining control. Regal eventually regains control himself until Al Snow walks out and he's still campaigning to become the WWF commissioner. They basically spend the duration of this match cutting between the match and Al Snow. This match was pretty good, even though you can barely see it at times because they kept cutting back and forth. Regal, for some reason, goes to grab Al Snow when the ref was distracted, and Snow hit Regal with head, basically, which leads to Test hitting the big boot on Regal to retain the European title. Decent match. You can tell that they didn't really care too much about it because they were still building the Al Snow becoming commissioner gimmick, which eventually I believe is awarded to William Regal instead. So he basically wasted his time. We then cut back to Stephanie McMahon watching the limo because apparently Trish is still in there getting her back blown out. With Trish shouting, "I'll show you," with Stephanie, shouting, "I'll show you who daddy's little girl is," Trish, before storming out. I'm like, I don't think that came out right. What do you mean by that?
All right.
We then get the Dudley Boys storming out with a table in hand before leaning the table against the apron, with Bubba Ray spelling out "No Way Out" in paint, basically sending a message to Undertaker, Kane, and Edge and Christian. They then cut to Stephanie McMahon storming up to the limo in the back, demanding Trish to come out. But Trish wasn't in the limo. She wasn't getting her back blown out. She was faking it the entire time as she jumped Stephanie from behind. Trish set her up. She wasn't getting her she wasn't getting her back blown out. She was just faking it. I guess she had.
Man, she messed her up, bro.
She tossed her in a stack of hay before shoving her face in horse shit. Literal horse shit. It was literally shit.
It was bad.
And then covering her in brown slop. Then that whole thing was gross. Like the stuff that Stephanie went through.
Man. I was like, so you're not going to address that maybe you are the problem? Like, you don't have to. Girl.
No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about.
Ain't no way.
I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about the stuff she agreed to do back then. I'm not talking about storyline wise. I'm talking about in general. Like, I would have said no.
Girl, please.
After all that, we then cut to the back with Kurt Angle, Edge, and Christian, and then The Rock and the Brothers of Destruction as the final hype for the main event. We get obviously we get a recap of what just happened, and like my comment stands. Stephanie, you're better than me because I wouldn't agree to do none of that shit. The WWF Slam of the Week presented by Wider Results Muscle Builder. They show a recap of what Kurt Angle did to The Rock week prior on SmackDown with the ankle lock after their respective match. It's time for our main event of the evening. This show went by quick because I believe it was on network television, so I believe the show was a little shorter. It's a 6-man tag team match. Out first is WWF champion Kurt Angle, Edge, and Christian. And after acknowledging the tables, keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Undertaker and Kane make their way out to the ring. Undertaker sees the table and pushes that shit to the side. He's like, man, get that shit out of here. Brushing it off before The Rock makes his way to the ring, joining the festivities. Undertaker wants to start the match, and Edge and Christian don't want to start with him. They're like, nah, you do it. Nah, you do it. Nah, you do it. So they tag Kurt and Undertaker.
And when y'all do it,
They're like, nah. They just tag. They just went ahead and tagged Kurt, and Undertaker starts going in on the champion. This was pretty much a standard 6-man tag team match at this point, with the bigger men maintaining control throughout the match until The Rock makes the tag and dares Kurt to bring it, but he doesn't. And as Rock goes for the rock bottom, Kurt slips in and sneak up on him and attacks him. And at this point, The Rock will be on the defense for this entire duration of the match. And after the heels dominated Rock, Kurt made the tag again, and Rock fought back before taking out the champion. Edge and Christian are taken out by Undertaker and Kane with choke slams and brawling all over the place, and all hell breaks loose until the Dudley Boys run out. And for a moment, I forgot it was a tag team match. I was like, is this going to be a DQ? But then I was like, oh, yeah, Taz pointed it out. So I'm like, oh, yeah, shit, this is DQ. So they're not going to get DQ. They attacked Edge and Christian. The Dudleys set up the 3D through the table until Undertaker pulls Christian out of the ring, and the Dudleys double team Undertaker, and all hell continues to break loose. Like, it was literally brawling all over the place. The camera cuts galore. Kurt Angle and The Rock are brawling a bit until Rock locks in the ugliest sharpshooter I've ever seen on my life on Kurt, forcing him to tap until Edge broke it up because the referee was outside dealing with people, so he didn't see the tap. And Rock attacked Edge, sending him to the floor. And that opening allowed Kurt to hit the Olympic slam on Rock through the table that was set up in the ring. And that was enough for Kurt to pin The Rock and pick up the win for the team. And that was your 6-man tag. But Kurt wasn't done. He's like, but wait. There's more. Then he went ahead and locked in the ankle lock on Rock, forcing Rock to reluctantly tap out with the little rubber that be on tables around this man's neck. The visual was sick. Will that be the case this Sunday at No Way Out? Spoiler alert. No. The Rock won, and that is how this show ends, with Kurt having Rock in the ankle lock, and that is SmackDown. Overall, I enjoyed the show. Like, it was most of the part I was rolling the blunt, but it was an enjoyable show. Like, nothing made me regret picking this one. And yeah, I enjoyed SmackDown, like the stuff that Stephanie went through, but I don't get it. I don't get it at all. What's it called? The highlight of the show was basically the Triple H and Stone Cold segment. That was a final build. I believe Triple H won that 3 Stages of Hell match. So that was a barn burner match that a lot of people, they still talk about to this day. I believe Triple H and Shawn Michaels is up there with one of the best 3 Stages of Hell. But I think Triple H and Randy Orton did one in 2009. I don't think they've really done that ever since. Like, they need to run that back. There were 3 matches in one, best 2 out of 3 falls. They need to bring that back. I don't even care if it's in AEW. Just bring it back. And that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's episode of the illustrious Gresh and Lee's podcast, episode 39. Make sure you guys are keeping up to date with everything with us by following us at Gresh Unleashed or Gresh Unleashed Pod on YouTube. Make sure you keep subscribed and all that good stuff. Like I said, make sure you guys check me out when I'm back on Twitch next week. Is it next week? Yeah, next week, I think. Yeah, the 14th. I'm back on Gresh Unleashed on AEW is Gresh on Twitch. It'll be a good time over there as well. I will finalize my stream schedule so you guys can know when I go live in particular. I'm trying myself to be dedicated to the streams as more, because I am going to be, now that I found a perfect balance for the YouTube side of stuff, I can start streaming more and focus on that and have fun with that. Make sure you guys stay tapped in for the interviews. Make sure you guys check out the one I did with Lovely, one I did with Matessa. 2 lovely individuals, 2 lovely friends of the show that you guys can literally check out on YouTube as well as wherever you listen to your podcast, or by simply visiting www.greshamleak.com. And with that being said, you guys can follow me on social media at Josh Gresham RG. Follow Suela at Suela the Bandit 3 on Twitter, or just by checking out solo.to/Suela. Make sure you guys tap in and stay locked. Eat, Sleep, Flex, and Repeat t-shirts and hoodies are available on Spring, as well as Gresh.live/merch. And with that being said, you guys stay safe out here. What's up?
Well, yeah, I ain't even cut you off. Before we go, I'm gonna put up this little segment, hopefully on why I say segment. I'm gonna put up this little post on Instagram, on my Instagram story. If you follow me on Instagram, be on the lookout for it. I want to take some opinions on what games of Nintendo Switch do you guys want me to check out. I will give the list of the games I already have. So if y'all ask me to play the game and I already got it, don't bother. I'm not going to share that on the story. I'm not going to do that because I already got the game. So no, but tell me what games do you want me to check out? And I'm going to start making me a nice little list, and hopefully when I save up my money and not blow it on gear, I will go buy games.
I'm always blowing shit on gear. I'm not gonna, I feel that. I'm always blowing. Sometimes I have to stop myself from hitting purchase. Because I will buy a new
gear. Like,
I'll buy a new webcam in a heartbeat. I'll buy a new webcam in a heartbeat without even thinking about it. And I'll be like, God damn it, do I really need that? But yeah, make sure you guys tap in with Suela and what she got going on as well. And also make sure you guys tap into our Instagram as well, because we did post a review on Creed 3. That movie dropped last week. I actually saw it on opening day. I enjoyed it for what it was. Make sure you guys tap into that, and we might do that in the future, where if Suela sees a movie, I get her thoughts and I'll post her review, like how was she rated, best out of 10. Give a brief summary. It can be just a sentence, like a summarized sentence, and I'll post it on.
What's we doing that?
Yeah, so
go check out Cocaine and go check out Quantumania. They're both good movies. That's all I'm gonna say.
Make sure you guys. I still ain't checked out Ant-Man yet, but yeah, make sure you guys check out all these movies that's coming out, because that's what we pretty much be talking about on the show, as well as TV shows, ratings. We might incorporate that in the future. I just gotta be able to. I gotta keep up with these shows because I be getting so busy and I be forgetting to watch these fucking shows. But with that being said, you guys stay safe out here in the world of unknown. But if you don't know by now, you are appreciated by yours truly, the voice that does the most, the purveyor, Mischief Gresh, and obviously the queen of rebels herself, Suela the Bandit. And with that being said, you guys stay safe out here in these streets, and remember to always eat, sleep, flex, and repeat. We out. Be breezy.
Bye, y'all.